Chase is 7 years old. He is in first grade at Cave Spring Elementary School. So he was diagnosed when he was 5 with a juvenile pilocytic astrocytoma, which is a benign, so non-cancerous brain tumor in his brainstem. He just hopefully finished up chemotherapy for that, and has been doing amazing and wonderful. He was so upset when he couldn't go with the other kids when they were supposed to go, back in February, I believe it was. I think it was January, when all of the other kids got to come from Carillion Children. So he was very upset. It meant a lot that Coach Young actually did follow through and keep in touch with Chase and us and invited us to have that experience. I think he got an amazing, once in a lifetime experience.
Oh, he's wearing them,
Every color.
Like the whole rainbow?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite color?
Blue.
Blue? That's my favorite color too. My room has like blue as well. um, so what did you get to do at the basketball game?
I got to run out on the court.
Ooh, was that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's cool. Did you get to meet any of the players? Yeah?
Yep.
Awesome. What was your favorite part?
Running out on the court.
So do you like to play basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah? And do you ever watch tech when you're at home?
Yep.
Yeah? And so you got to keep a game ball?
Yep.
Where is it right now?
In there.
In there?
Yeah, so Chase, he likes to be an active now 7-year-old. Likes playing Legos, likes playing video games, likes playing different sports. He played T-ball last year. He's getting ready to start coach pitch this year. Likes basketball, football, loves animals. Obviously, we have a dog, and he gravitates to animals too as well. Yeah, so it was awesome. Not just for just to get out as a family, but just an awesome experience for him. With everything he's been through over the last year. To see him, smiling, interacting, having a great time. Obviously, it seemed like a lot of times he was the center of the attention. In a nutshell, I know he's our child, but he deserves it with everything he's been through. So it was cool for the players to come interact with the kids that were painting the shoes. Chase, I think, used all the colors for the Coach Young shoes. It was cool not just for Chase, but also him to see other kids that are kind of going through the same circumstances that he's going through, and then also us as parents too, to kind of meet some of those other parents that we don't ever normally see.
That was definitely a first experience that Carillion has done and partnered with anyone for getting these kids together to do something. So it's always nice. Any sort of art therapy seems to really help in these situations, and I would definitely consider that art therapy. So it was very cool that he got to meet the players and actually sit down and paint with the players, and they talked with him and interacted with him and asked him questions and had normal conversations. So that was also a very cool, fun experience, and it was nice to be able to meet other parents and other kids going through similar situations, because we just don't have a forum for that right now. Okay, yeah, so we've had some complications as of last week. He had some pretty serious life-threatening complication from his chemotherapy. It's a condition called autoimmune hemolytic anemia, essentially where his body is destroying his red blood cells before they can be made. So we are officially paused on chemo. He only had 8 more treatments to go, so he's had 33 and only had 8 more to go, and we are all agreeable at this point that we are pausing, no further chemo at this time. We actually go up to Children's National. They are his primary brain tumor team up in DC. So we head up there in a couple of weeks just to make sure that they're on the same page, that stopping for good is the right thing to do. So yeah, we weren't supposed to be done until the end of June, but we might be done now. Yep.
How has like your perspective changed on this?
Nothing else matters at this point but him and him getting through this and moving forward. What do we wish people knew, Chase? I don't know, because I would say I wish people knew the toll that it took on us, but I think people do, right? I think people understand the toll that it takes on him, with the anxiety and with the nervousness of access and chemotherapy and all of those great things. I don't think a lot of people understand that there, aren't, people may understand this, like there isn't a lot of funding that goes towards pediatric cancer research, right? Like the majority of funding, like 90% of funding goes towards adult research. There's a very small percentage that actually goes to pediatric research, so when our kids get chemo, they're essentially getting adult chemo in these little bodies. The way that the anxiety manifests in different ways through like not sleeping, night terrors, nightmares, those are some things that I don't think people really truly understand until you're actually in it. I just think it was incredible to see Coach Young follow through. Because people say things all the time, right? But may not ever act upon it. And he continues to keep in touch, which is also very special. After Chase and we had that pretty horrific experience last week in the hospital, Coach Young just happened to reach out and had no idea, right? Like no clue what was going on. So, my husband told him, and then, he wanted to call Chase later that night. So he actually called and, talked to Chase later that night. So I just think that him following through and the bond that he has created with not only Chase but us as well has been incredibly special.